Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. We are back once again today with some big breaking news around the world of LOL esports. Again, as we all know and love on this channel, breaking Germ is the best Germ. I know a lot of you guys come here for the up-to-date information, staying up to date on the news, getting the latest stories, all that stuff. So we do have a very, very big one today. This one is surrounding MSI. Obviously, over the past couple of years, international tournaments have been a little bit weird. Scheduling has been crazy. It seems like, hey, an event gets scheduled in this country, then it gets canceled, then it goes to this country, then there's visa issues, then it goes to this country, and then there is fans, and then there's not fans, and then there's restrictions, and then certain players can't get into this country and that country. There's a million different things going on. And I do hope that we are getting closer and closer to having normal international events, big, crazy, extravagant international events with a ton of fans, because I think that's more hype to watch. I truly believe it helps grow the esport, and I just think it's way more fun, better for everyone involved: players, fans, teams, coaches, orgs, business, everything. So in this video today, we're going to be going over some new news surrounding what 2022 MSI could potentially look like, will hopefully look like. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this one. This is a bloop scoop. This is coming from .esports from Bloop GG. Pablo, I believe his name is. We're going over to it. Sources: 2022 MSI to be held in South Korea. We will be getting into a lot of this information. First, I just wanted to say, .esports website, wow, there is a lot of ads. So usually I use ad block, and I get like, hey, creators online, they need to make money, websites need to make money, all this stuff. I make YouTube videos, and when people use ad block on my YouTube videos, like, hey, that's worse for me, I don't like that. So on YouTube, I turn ad block off. I want to support other YouTubers, I want to support other content creators, and with some of my favorite sites, I turn ad block off as well. But I've had ad block on for a lot of these news sites and stuff, and Dot used to let you click a button like, oh, continue without supporting, keep your ad block on. But now they make you turn your ad block off, and wow, like, there is literally more ads on this page than there is content. There's, unclickable ad here, there's video here, there's like, moving stuff here. Like, there's so much going on. And I really do believe it is so much taking away from the content, and that this is a little bit extreme. There's like, you can't even close out of this bottom bar ad. Like, okay, way too much stuff going on. I am not a fan of this. I hope, again, I get it, they need to make money, but man, if this is what it takes to make money, that's tough. But anyway, South Korea is set to host this year's mid-season invitational. Sources have told .esports this will be the country's first time hosting an MSI. That's pretty crazy. Obviously, South Korea is like the mecca of esports, but especially of League of Legends esports. The fact that they've never had an MSI, that was pretty surprising to me. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. MSI is one of the newer tournaments. We had a year of MSI get canceled, so even though it's one of the newer tournaments, we even lost a year of it entirely. But yeah, pretty crazy that it's never been to MSI, and pretty hype and exciting that it's planning on being held there this year. Will it actually happen there? Who knows? We'll get into more of that in a second. And it marks the first League of Legends international event in South Korea since 2018. Again, long overdue to be returning to South Korea. The venues and cities for the 2022 MSI remain unknown for the time being. Now, I think this was interesting because there was, some different rumors going around about different cities, different countries, different places that this potential MSI could be held. I'm sure Riot was doing a lot of different things behind the scenes, depending on, COVID restrictions and just rules and laws in general, and where the visa issues are going to happen. And then also you have to find venues and all this stuff. And apparently they ended up deciding upon South Korea. Again, hopefully it will actually be able to be held there, because I think that'd be pretty hype, pretty exciting. Until now, Korea was the only major region that didn't host an MSI, and the last international tournament in the country was Worlds in 2018. South Korea has had some of the most severe COVID restrictions worldwide, and yes, obviously that scares me. Again, I am in the United States. I'm not in Korea. I don't know what the day-to-day COVID situation is like, so hey, hopefully you guys can give us some kind of update of what's it like? What are the rules like? Are restrictions easing? Do you think it's going to be a good idea to try to hold this tournament here? Because I get two schools of thought. One school of thought is, hey, Riot is planning on holding this here. They must have a pretty good idea of the restrictions and everything. They must be pretty comfortable and confident that this thing is going to be able to happen in April. But then the other school of thought is, Riot has shown over the past couple years to be pretty inept in, one, deciding when and where events are going to be able to be held, what's going to be a good idea, what's not. Again, like I said, we've had Worlds, MSI, whatever, get moved around a couple times. I know in the United States, they were planning on having summer finals in person. That got canceled. That screwed a bunch of people out of, plane tickets and Airbnbs and hotels and all this stuff. So just because Riot's planning on having this in South Korea, I do not think that means it's 100% locked that South Korea is going to be a good place to have this in April or May of 2022. I don't know. I hope so, but Riot has already proven us otherwise multiple times over the last couple of years. So just to blindly have faith in them, I don't necessarily think that's a great idea. I would love to hear from people in Korea or people who know more about the situation than me, because I don't know much about it. I know in the United States, there's some cities and states where, yeah, you could absolutely hold MSI. There's some cities and states where, hey, you absolutely could not. But that's kind of what I think. But again, I'd love to hear from other people. Hosting the MSI in South Korea also marks its return to a major country after the disruptions due to COVID-19 in the past 2 years. Pandemic forced Riot to cancel MSI in 2020. That sucked. Go for a restricted bubble system in China. And then they went to, Reykjavik for MSI in Worlds. South Korea's first MSI is a milestone for the most successful country in league history. So yeah, very, very cool. They don't have a ton more information there except that it's, supposed to be held in in South Korea in 2022. I went to the U.S. Embassy website and looked at kind of what the situation is in South Korea right now, at least from the United States perspective. They do say that currently the U.S. has Korea as a level 4 travel advisory, do not travel, indicating a high level of COVID in the country. All travelers must provide a negative PCR test. That's pretty normal. There's a mandatory 7-day quarantine upon entry for most travelers. Again, this is at least according to the United States. Although most stores and public buildings are open, national and local governments exercise authority to regulate businesses, schools, the size and type of gatherings, treatment, and quarantine requirements for those that test positive for COVID, and testing mandates to respond to outbreaks. So I don't know. Well, from what I'm reading, it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound like the COVID situation is amazing. Now, obviously, I'm sure Riot Korea, everyone is hoping things will get better over the next couple of months, but who knows? I think this could potentially be really cool and exciting. I think it could potentially be a horrible mess where, I know that, hey, you could probably go back to Reykjavik. I know that here in the United States, you could go to Florida, you could go to Texas, you could go to Arizona, you could absolutely have this thing in the United States. Again, other than that, I don't really know. I know you could have it in France. We've seen them having some crazy events. I'm sure you could have it in Spain. I know there's places where you could for sure have this thing without an issue. So I hope South Korea is a great location for this, and I think it's a cool location if it does happen, but I'm a little bit worried. As far as the actual MSI, I think it's going to be an absolute banger. Who's going to come out of the LCS, whether it's Cloud9, 100 Thieves, or TL. Now that they have Core JJ, I think the LCS is going to be sending an amazing team that will hopefully be very, very competitive. Over in the LEC, who knows what's going to happen? Rogue, G2, Vitality, Misfits is up there, Fnatic's up there, who knows? Right now at the top of the LPL standings is obviously LNG, Doinb's new squad. They got Tarzan. They are a very, very scary team, but there's some other great teams coming out of China as well. Suning, EDG, there is some good teams at the top of the standings here. And then T1 sitting at 9-0. How cool would that be to see Faker and T1 playing MSI in South Korea? I think that would be very, very exciting. So, I don't know. Obviously, I always love having events in the United States. I would love as many events to be here as possible, but I understand that Korea absolutely deserves an MSI, and it's great that they haven't got to hold one yet. So I do hope that this thing is able to go off without a hitch, and I'm very, very excited because I really think all across the world, there's a ton of teams that look very, very good this season. So I think it's going to be a fun MSI. And again, they do say in the article, MSI is generally held in late April or early May, so kind of be expecting, an announcement of start dates sometime around then in the near future. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this whole thing. You think South Korea is a good choice, or where would you guys rather see MSI held? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.